Hi guys, welcome to the Lupus Profile. It's me, Anna, and today we are going to talk about working while on dialysis. So this is a big deal, and I have wanted to talk about it for so long, but I just haven't yet because I just wanted to go about it the right way. The truth of the matter is, if I'm just going to be point blank with you, yes, you can work while on dialysis, but there are some things, some life modifications that you're probably going to have to make depending on your health, your treatment modality, and what your job is. So let's talk a little bit about that. I am a registered nurse, and I have worked almost 3 years in one of my local hospitals as a floor nurse, just pediatric floor nurse. Occasionally I'd get pulled back into the PD ICU. That was the only professional job I've had, really. I loved that job. I loved my coworkers. I loved taking care of my patients. I loved, obviously there's things that you don't love about a job, right? Every job has things that you don't love about it. But as a general whole, I was very happy where I was. How come I don't work there anymore? I went into kidney failure again in 2018-ish. I started back on dialysis again in January of 2019. And when I started dialysis, I kept my director in the loop. She knew everything about what was going on with me, And obviously she was aware that when I started dialysis, I was going to have to cut back my hours or modify my hours to work with me, because there's no way being on hemodialysis that I could work 3 or 4 days in a row and still, do my treatments. There's no way unless you're doing nocturnal dialysis. I was a day nurse. We had conversations about moving me back to night shift. Would that be better for me? I was like, no, absolutely not. I struggled to do night shift when I had the transplanted kidney. That was working well for me. No, there was no way I was going to make it doing dialysis on top of that. With this video, I want to bring an awareness to not just patients, but patients who are like me, but also to other people who are like employers of people like me. Because there's a lot of, it seems so sad to me and so unfair at the same time. I understand from a business perspective, we are a liability. We are unreliable. You never know what's going to happen with our health. It's just a day-to-day process. But people on dialysis still need to make money. They still need to make a living. Somehow we need to be able, I'm very fortunate and blessed to still be living at home, and I have my parents and they support me. I don't have any children. I don't have to worry about that part, but there's a lot of people who are on dialysis. There are single parents, and how are they making it? How are they finding the money to be able to support their kids and still be able to do dialysis and all of that? I just want to bring that awareness to people, People who have end-stage renal disease as a general whole, that's an automatic qualification for disability, which is great. It's a blessing. But who wants to be on disability? Honestly, you have to rely on that one source of income. It's very restrictive as to how much you can earn outside of that. If you start feeling better and you decide, oh, I want to work now, it's kind of hard for you to do that, because if you're getting disability, they don't want you to make more than X number of dollars a month. You know what I mean? It's hard. And if you are feeling well enough to where you're like, no, I don't need disability, yet your health is so unpredictable, you just never know. For me, I have felt pretty good here for the last month, and then here this last week I started getting sick again and running fevers and whatnot. can you work while you're on dialysis? I wish I had an easy answer for you. There's a lot of, as for me at least, in my profession, there's a lot of different nursing jobs out there. Like, there are jobs that I can work as a nurse from home, so that would actually be a lot better for me if I can work from home. Obviously, not all of you who are watching are nurses. Not everybody out there is going to be able to have those opportunities. So we have to think outside of the box here. If your job is extremely physically strenuous, you may not be able to do it while on dialysis. I'm just going to be honest with you. You might have to search for something else. Employers, if you have people working for you who are on dialysis, please take into consideration that this that they're going through is life altering in every aspect. They're losing their independence. They're having to put their dependence on a machine to make them stay alive. They're having to change their diet. They're changing how much fluid they can drink. They're changing just how much time they get to spend with their family, because they're having to spend it, I mean, if assuming you're on hemodialysis, you're having to spend it hours and hours in the clinic. Look, I could go on a rant about this because it just makes me so sad to see people that just literally, they don't understand dialysis. They just don't. It is literally a full-time job that you don't get paid for. Let me explain. If you're going to the clinic, I live half an hour from the nearest clinic. So I drive 30 minutes to the clinic, 30 minutes from. That's 1 full hour. I get there and my treatments are 4 hours. But that's just the treatment. That's not the time it takes me to get on the machine. That doesn't count if I have complications like cramping or drops in my blood pressure or blood loss or just different things like that, or how long it takes me to quit bleeding after my treatment. That is additional time after that. So we're gonna add another hour on top of that. So 4 hours plus 1 hour is 5 hours, plus another hour drive time, it's just 6 hours. Plus, once I get off treatment, I'm exhausted. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to play games with my family. I don't want to watch a movie. I just want to lay down and take a nap. So give me another 2 hours to recuperate from all of that. That is 8 hours, at least 8 hours of just pure exhaustion, being completely drained. I don't want to do anything else. So it takes me 8 hours that I'm away from my family, away from real life, doing anything. And then once I start to feel like I can do it again, it's time for bed. And by the time I go to bed and then get up the next morning, I gotta go to work for 13 hours. Come home, shower, go to sleep, do it all over again. Like, that is not gonna work, like, for any normal human being. That was within center hemodialysis. Now, let's go if you decide to do it at home. Doing dialysis at home could be a little bit easier on you just because you don't have the commute from home to the clinic. You don't have to worry about, you know, someone in the chair before you is having complications, so you're going to get started late on your treatment. No, you have a little bit more independence and control over when you actually start your dialysis treatment. But it's still tiring because you have to set up your machine. You have to make sure that you've got everything in line for what you need. The maintenance has to be done. You've got to make sure that you know, that you've got a sack made, and it does still take time. Maybe not as much. I mean, instead of 8 hours, you have like 6, but still, I mean, it takes time. And I don't feel super tired and exhausted after doing dialysis at home like what I did in the clinic. So that part is good. You still get to be with your family. That is a positive with doing home hemo. But still, like if you're a nurse like me, you can't really work for 3 or 4 consecutive days. You have to make them island days where you work Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and you do dialysis Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. So it still kind of like is a little tricky in that respect. And as a nurse, I couldn't work the exact same days every week. I had to kind of change them up. So it'd be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. You know what I mean? So it gets a little bit like crazy, and you're still having to keep up with making your sack for dialysis. It can be a lot. And then keeping up for like when you have to draw blood, when you have your doctor's visits, and you know, all of that stuff, plus being on top of like your diet and stuff. I mean, it's a lot. It really is. And it was pretty difficult for me when I did it. Plus, when I was doing it, mind you, I also was sick with fever all the time because my body was rejecting the transplanted kidney that I had. So I literally was going to work with fevers and kidney failure and all the stress of dialysis on top of it. I was just an emotional wreck and a physical wreck as a whole. And I was still trying to take care of all of my wrecked patients. It was rough. And I was pretty stubborn. I did not want to go on to disability at all because I was making more money as a nurse than what I would on disability. Plus, I really like buying coffee. It just didn't seem logical for me to want to give up my job and my independence for disability and just stay home. And what was I gonna do? Nothing. Once I got my kidney removed, I was not making any urine. 0 urine. So I went from having a little bit of kidney function to none. So my health was not good. It never was good, but it got more not good. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up taking a leave of absence because I was in the hospital so many times. It was ridiculous. And so yeah, I took a leave of absence, applied for long-term disability, got approved because obviously end-stage renal disease is an instant qualification for disability. And they had to let me go from my job, which I get. I couldn't see a way for me to get back to work safely, you know, and still stay healthy. I couldn't see that. And obviously it wasn't good on the budget for them, so let me go. And yes, I was very upset about it when it happened. I mean, I kind of anticipated it, but I guess I had no forewarning, so that I could just kind of make the decision to just quit on my own instead of being let go. But I mean, I left in good standing. If I, you know, get a transplant and start to get better and want to go back, I could. But I've heard of a lot of patients who've had these very similar things happen where they worked at a place for many years. They went into kidney failure, had to start dialysis, and then they were let go. And to me, I just think, oh, it's just so sad. Like, nobody plans for dialysis. Nobody plans for their kidneys to just shut down. Nobody would choose dialysis in their right mind because it is not fun. I'm sorry, guys. I'm very fortunate because I'm still living at home with my parents, and they can help me pick up any of the slack, you know. But think about all those people out there who have kids and then they start on dialysis and they just lose their job because it's unprofitable for the company. I mean, yes, they can go on disability, but they've already lost so much when they go on dialysis. You lose your independence, you lose time with family, you lose the foods that you love to eat, you know? You don't get to drink as much fluid. You lose a lot of like just your health and feeling well. You lose all of that. And then to lose their job and finance on top of that, it's no wonder people on dialysis go into depression. And then when you're in the deep hole of depression, it's like a black hole and it just sucks you deeper and deeper and deeper. And you just don't feel like you can crawl out of it. I don't know how. I mean, I wish I had an easy answer for you. If you are on peritoneal dialysis, or if you have the option of peritoneal dialysis, that is, you know, probably second best to transplant. Transplant is obviously the best option because that's gonna, you know, if it takes, it gives you the best chance at a normal life. But I mean, obviously not everybody's a candidate for that. And there's many reasons why. So if transplant's not an option, then dialysis or supportive care, palliative care, where, you know, palliative care, it just means that you have chosen not to do dialysis. You just chosen to let nature take its course, and unfortunately, you know, that doesn't end. It's not a happily ever after, physically talking. But peritoneal dialysis, if you can do it, you're probably going to be able to have a more regular work schedule with PD, because if you're doing it on the cycler, which you're doing it every night, you'll be feeling better. You'll be able to kind of keep a more regular schedule where you're working during the daytime and you just hook up to your machine at night, and the next day you disconnect, you know, and you just go about normal everyday life. It's not a forever treatment. You know, PD it has a limit, and once you reach that limit, then you have to go to hemodialysis, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's just normal. But, you know, it's got a shelf life, is what I'm trying to say. And once it's expired, it expires, you know. And hemodialysis is pretty much the only option after that. Hemo and then transplant, you know. So anyway, I was on PD for a little bit, and then I had to be put on hemo, and hemodialysis is what I do now. And so hemo is, I mean, it's great, you know, because you still can live. Like, end-stage renal disease doesn't have to be a death sentence, thanks to hemo and transplantation and PD. So anyway, working while on hemo. What am I doing? I do photography on the side because, you know, I've done photography longer than I've been a nurse. So that has been a really great blessing for me. And I know not everybody is a photographer, whatever. This would be a time to just start being creative, trying to think outside the box. What are some things that you can do? Don't feel bad about going on disability if that's the only option that you have, you know. But I do want to just bring awareness to people who are employers. Like I said, People who go on dialysis don't choose this life for themselves. There's no other option. If you can find a way or a job that they can still do that's less strenuous, but they can still get paid and still support their families, that would be a huge, huge blessing for them. And it would help them keep a certain amount of independence and autonomy, because at this point they feel like they've lost control of everything. It's hard. It's very, very hard. So anyway, as you can tell, it gets me all emotional. I struggled a lot when I was let go. Struggled with a lot of, all the feelings that go with grief. All the feels, those are the things that I was feeling. It was hard for me. I'm at this point now where I'm okay with it, but I still feel emotional. And when I talk with patients who tell me that they've lost their job that they've been working in for 20 years and they got kidney failure and started on dialysis and they lost their job, I'm just like, really? That's just, it's so sad, and it makes me low-key angry because it's just unfair. Hopefully this video brings a little bit of awareness to people out there who have hired people on dialysis like me. I wish and hope and pray that you would not give up on your employees who have started on dialysis. The very beginning is extremely rough for them physically, and it takes a little while for their bodies to get acclimated to whatever treatment modality they're on, and it takes time for their bodies to get regulated. And then once it gets regulated, they can come to a sense of normalcy, and then maybe they'll be a little bit more productive at work. But I just hope and pray that you just wouldn't throw them under the bus so quickly, because it's a total life-changing event. We don't need to add the loss of a job on top of it. And for those of you who are on dialysis or have gotten a transplant or getting ready to start dialysis or whatever your story is, talk with your director, talk with your boss, your supervisor. Keep them in the loop with what is going on, and make sure that they fully understand the implications that all of this is taking in your life with your body and everything, and that you still need a source of income. And just, I don't know, I wish I had an easy answer. Don't give up. That right there is key. Do not give up. Keep fighting. If you feel like you can work while on dialysis, keep it up. That's what I say. Keep on going. Because the more the fighting spirit you have, the better chance you have at surviving. And that's very important for you, for your mental health and for your physical health as well. Just don't give up. If worst comes to worst and you just cannot keep that job that you love so much, try to think out of the box. Be creative. Let's see what other options are out there for you that are in your field, or maybe even something that's outside of your field. Maybe it's completely different from anything you've ever done before. Right? No matter what, just know that I am here for you guys. I think about y'all. I pray for you. I want to be here to answer any questions that you have. And if you have any suggestions, please let me know in the comments below. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe to my channel, and share with your friends. Guys, there's a lot of dialysis patients out there, and stage renal disease people out there I know that would very much love to hear this video. So anyway, I know that this was a long one, but I hope that you guys enjoyed and found it informative, and I will see you guys later.